Steelhead at Winthrop National Fish Hatchery. In the Methow River watershed, steelhead are a listed species under the Endangered Species Act. At Winthrop National Fish Hatchery, we work with partners to support steelhead. Steelhead are a salmonid in the same genus, Oncorhynchus, as other Pacific salmon, but their life history is more complex. Other salmon, like the spring Chinook we raise here, are born in freshwater rivers, migrate out to the ocean, then return to the same freshwater streams in which they were born to lay their eggs. Other salmon die after spawning, but steelhead may or may not migrate to the ocean and may or may not die after spawning. A steelhead that doesn't migrate to the ocean is called a rainbow trout. Same species, same fish, but different life history. Research conducted at our hatchery showed that well-fed young steelhead may fail to migrate, so our young fish are carefully monitored to prevent overly rapid growth. They must also choose to leave, a method called volitional release. Fish that choose to stay are put into our kids' fishing pond.
Good job! High five! It was so worth the wait, right? Yeah!
Migrating fish must pass 9 dams on their way to the ocean or back to their home streams. In a bad year, as little as 10% of young smolt make it out to the ocean, but sometimes more than 50% make their way through all the dams and out to the ocean. Adult steelhead, too, face dangers as they return. And for those adults that survive spawning, the long, difficult migration back to the ocean is a severe trial. How can we help boost numbers of wild steelhead spawning in the Methow? One way may be to keep surviving adults post-spawning, called Kelts, at our hatchery, and care for them until it is time to release them for natural spawning. The Yakima Nation Fisheries cares for Kelts at a special reconditioning facility built at our hatchery, feeding the fish until they are healthy and robust enough to put back out in the river to spawn naturally. This saves the fish from having to migrate back to the ocean and run the gauntlet of dams again. This Steelhead Kelt reconditioning program is one of several in the Columbia River Basin. Wild fish are captured on hook and line in February and March, then brought to the hatchery and held in our adult tanks until they are ready to spawn. We use an air spawning technique for the females that doesn't harm the fish. The female Kelts are then transferred to the circular tanks in the reconditioning facility. The males are also live spawned and returned directly to the river. This conservation program focuses on using only wild broodstock genetically tied to the Methow River watershed. In essence, we only borrow wild fish, so they can be returned to the river to spawn again naturally. The young fish we raise are marked as hatchery fish before they are released, and when they return, they could be included in a selective sport fishery, used in a stepping stone hatchery program at Wells Dam Fish Hatchery, or allowed to spawn in the wild. We succeed only through partnership. We work closely with the Yakima Nation Fisheries, Douglas Public Utility District, Washington Department of Fish and Wildlife, and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration to monitor, care for, and study steelhead. While we work to conserve wild steelhead for their own sake and for the important role they play in our rivers, we also support a unique local fishery. In some years, this program on the Methow River assists in providing some of the best steelhead fisheries in the Pacific Northwest. Photo credits: Julia Pinnix, Margie Bodwick, and Michael Humling, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service; Ken Woodward, Cherie Beaulaurier, and Steve Socks, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service volunteers; Rick Alford, Yakima Nation Fisheries, and by permission from Brandon Pasley. Music: Zachar Valaha from Pixabay, Les FM from Pixabay. Produced by Julia Pinnix, March 2022. This video brought to you by Leavenworth Fisheries Complex, which includes Winthrop National Fish Hatchery, Mid-Columbia Fish and Wildlife Conservation Office, Entiat National Fish Hatchery, and Leavenworth National Fish Hatchery. Visit our website at fws.gov/fish-hatchery/Winthrop. Join us on Facebook, Leavenworth Fisheries Complex, and explore more videos and links at friendsofnwhatcheries.org.